All right. Obviously, folks in Cleveland paying attention to some college quarterbacks. Who has grabbed your attention, and who do you think can continue or can elevate into where you would think a team will make them an early first round pick?
I think a couple of guys have impressed me so far. If you're just talking about the first few weeks of the season here, Dante Moore at Oregon is a guy people are going to start talking about for sure. I think especially if he wins this week in Penn State, that's going to be a big conversation. Fernando Mendoza in the game that he had for Indiana last week against Illinois, another good test against Iowa this week, and he's going to see all of the really good defenses in the Big Ten. Mendoza's a name to keep an eye on, and then I think another guy who's intrigued me and who's having a bounce back year, Carson Beck at Miami. Look, he's having an awesome year for the Hurricanes. He understands the assignment. I think he is certainly a professional quarterback in some sense, but we'll see how the rest of the year goes when it comes to him possibly being a first-round pick.
We talked a little bit about Aller. Is that a guy that if he goes out and plays, when you look at Aller, he's got the big arm, he's got the big, he's a 6'5", he's put together. He has the prototypical quarterback build. If he goes out and puts together a couple of games, is he another guy that can rise?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's a guy. There's 4 or 5 guys in the country right now, Dave, that they have the talent, they have the tools. They are almost. It's almost like the idea of a franchise quarterback. Drew Aller, Lenora Sellers, Sam Levitt at Arizona State. There's certain guys that are so toolsy and they have so much potential, but they have to overcome these flaws. And again, I think Aller, this is such a big week for him because so many people think of him as, in the big moments. Is he going to fold or is he going to come through for them against Oregon, against Indiana, against Ohio State? When it gets to maybe playoff games, is Drew Aller going to come through and be accurate enough in those moments? Because the tools are all out, they're all there. He's athletic enough, he's big enough, he's got a huge arm. We know he's got first round tools, but he's got to go out there and execute. That mission really starts this week. His first 3 games don't show you a whole lot because of the opponents. His mission starts this week. If he plays well in this Oregon game, he's going to move up those boards.
Historically, is this the time of year where that quarterback class kind of starts to take shape a little bit? I know it changes even after the season when you get to the combine, but is this where you start to see some of the guys separate when you get towards conference play in the middle of the season?
Yeah, because you get to see him against real opponents, right? It's same thing. Aller, in those scenarios. Fernando Mendoza, that's why, take a guy like him who got his first real test with Illinois last week and passed with flying colors. Indiana didn't play anybody the first 3 weeks. You get out of the soft landing, out of conference schedules. You get into the big games where you get these big matchups against top 10 and top 20 defenses. That's when you want to see it happen, right? And there's certain guys that are going to fold, and there's certain guys who are going to rise up and carry their team through it and possibly win a championship. So I think this really is the time of year where you look at some of these matchups and go, all right, this is prove it time now. I think for the 2 guys in that Penn State Oregon game, I think about Ty Simpson for Alabama going against Georgia. There's games like that even this week where you go, all right, let's see it. Are you just okay or are you really, really good against good opponents?